Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Take a look at this. You can see officers in tactical gear as they search for a man they say was shooting up a Beeren Township neighborhood. What a scene. Now, neighbors told to shelter in place for nearly an hour this afternoon. Police say when they got there, the man locked himself inside a home. Now, let's bring in Pamela Osborne. She's live from Beeren Township with exactly what police are saying. What's the latest here, Pam?
Well, as you said, that standoff lasted for about an hour. The man, believed to be in his 40s, had barricaded himself inside of this home here. It was searched just a short time ago by investigators, but for about an hour, people living on Bog Road were told to stay in their homes, but that shelter-in-place advisory has been lifted now that the suspect is in custody. Here's Detective Lieutenant Ken Floro with Van Buren PD.
The call came in initially as a male subject firing recklessly at houses and people in the area. So we responded accordingly to that, created a safe perimeter. The subject ended up going back inside. Through our investigation on the block and pulling some video, we determined that that was not the case. He was certainly firing a firearm in what is deemed to be a reckless manner, but not at any houses or any cars or any people or anything like that.
About an hour after that call, police, with the help of their special operations team, had him in custody. This is Sky 4 video of him being escorted in handcuffs to Van, and according to Van Buren police, when they arrived on the scene there, the man was still shooting his guns recklessly. We did talk to a neighbor. You'll hear from her tonight at 5. She was sitting on her porch when all of this happened. She tells us exactly what she saw and heard before those gunshots, so you'll want to stick around for that. Fortunately, though, no one was injured. We're live in Van Buren Township tonight. I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
And there's no doubt denying we've got storms from that live shot from Pam. It is coming down strong in some parts of Metro Detroit. Those storms are moving in from the west. Now, we are tracking weather radar as our southern communities near the Ohio border are bracing for impact. I want you to take a look at this photo. This was sent in to us from MyPics. And Linda says yesterday's storm actually sent her patio furniture just flying right there on the roof. She found her table there, was pretty stunned. And we're obviously talking about this. We're working to bring you some answers to what happened yesterday that made I-75 get so backed up from those floodwaters. It has been a mess, so we need to bring in forewarned meteorologist Brett Collar, and he joins us now with the very latest on what we can expect, Brett, with today's storms. You could hardly hear Pam when she was talking. That storm was coming down really strong in Van Buren Township.
Really coming down. This we call it a very messy pattern because each day you get these showers and storms that fire off, kind of few and far between, but they pack a punch. Yeah. And they could become severe. So that's something that we're watching as we head throughout the next few hours. Again, like we've been mentioning, at the moment, there is nothing severe, but it can't be ruled out as we head throughout the next couple of hours, at least until about 6, maybe 7 p.m. This evening. But we'll zoom in closer. Parts of Wayne County seeing some very heavy rain. This also includes Metro Airport along I-94, Wayne, Westland, up towards Plymouth as well. We'll zoom out a little bit further, and I want to take a 3D slice of this storm to show you the strength as we are seeing some of these storms reaching upwards of close to 50,000 feet up into the atmosphere. And if you've been watching us the past few days, some of these storms have been 40, maybe 50,000. It's getting up there. And when you look even further inside the storm, we're able to see these cores, which are the heavy rain pockets. Anytime that we see this take place, you can see the reds here, indicative that there is some very heavy rain and potentially some small hail as well. So something that we'll keep a close eye on over the next couple of hours. It's hot and it's muggy. Rain-cooled air in the 70s. We had heat index values near 90 at Metro Airport about an hour ago, but now that's cooled things off just a bit. Tigers are in town this evening, and we'll have to watch the weather very closely. But as we progress through the evening, conditions should improve, but it's going to feel quite sticky out there. And there's more storms over the coming days. We'll talk about when we finally break this pattern in just a bit.
All right. Thank you, Brett. Make sure to download the Forewarned Weather app to follow where storms are headed, at what time they will hit your neighborhood. You can snap a picture of that QR code on your screen to download it on your App Store or your Google Play Store. If I-75 is part of your commute, you probably had a really difficult time home last night and maybe into work this morning. The freeway from 7 Mile to 9 Mile closed for hours after storms last night because of some really dangerous flooding. Now, although it's up and running like normal today, many people have questions as to how did it get so bad. Will Jones searching for answers for us this afternoon.
We certainly didn't have significant rainfall yesterday to cause flooding along a 2-mile stretch of I-75, so we reached out to MDOT to get to the bottom of what happened. No one was available to go on camera, but a spokesperson from MDOT told me over the phone that yesterday's flooding was due to a power outage at a pumping station. They brought in a generator to get the pumping station back up and running, clearing out the water. However, this left both the southbound and northbound lanes of I-75 between 7 and 9 mile roads shut down for several hours right during the evening commute. So what's being done to prevent this from happening again? MDOT is currently installing backup generators. Some of their pumping stations already have generators, but there are about 80 more going in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. MDOT does not have a time frame for when this work will be completed. Reporting along I-75 near 7 Mile, Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, appreciate it, Will. Well, this is something nobody wants to see when they turn on their tap, yet this is what Detroit neighbors are saying when they try to pour a glass of water. DWSD says this is because of a water system improvement project by Gliwa. It's happening at Waterworks Park, a water treatment plant over on East Jefferson. Waterworks Park supplies water to people living downtown in Elmwood Park, West and East Village, Island View, Indian Village, Marina District, and also on Belle Isle. So we are told the water is safe to wash in, but you should not drink it. So if your water looks like this with that little yellow tinge, please call 313-267-8000. Again, 313-267-8000. We're hearing some new witness testimony in the case against Desmond Burks, accused of murdering Detroit neurosurgeon Dr. Devon Hoover. The witness testified seeing Burks wearing one of 2 watches bought by Hoover just 2 days before his death, noting his suspicious behavior in the days following the murder. Police found both watches in homes linked to Burks with matching serial numbers. The same witness also claimed Burks asked them to get rid of his belongings and delete Cash App accounts where money totaling about $21,000 had been sent.
And he sent you a sum of money?
Yes.
Was it larger than any money he had ever sent you before?
Yes.
And did you send a portion of that back?
Yes.
Police discovered Hoover's body inside his Detroit home. It was April of 2023. An autopsy confirmed he died from 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Our Erica Erickson is closely following this case. At 5:30, she is going to share what else Burks did with that large sum of cash. Now to the case of a former Warren police officer charged in a fatal crash. James Burke is in court for a preliminary exam to determine if there's enough evidence to go to trial. Burke is accused of speeding, hitting speeds over 100 in his patrol car while on duty. Now, that's when he crashed into an SUV, resulting in the deaths of 2 men, Cedric Hayden Jr. and Dewan Pettis. The investigation revealed Burke did not activate his emergency lights or siren before the crash. In court today, attorneys questioned whether Burke had the ability to do so.
That hand, as it was pointed out by counsel, is down near that control panel, correct? Correct. All right. Where he easily could have turned on some lights to warn oncoming traffic and the traffic that was proceeding in the same direction ahead of him that he was coming, correct?
He could have, yeah.
To your knowledge, there's nothing that prevents him from doing that, correct?
No.
Local 4's J. Scott Smith is in court following all of today's hearing. He will have more testimony coming up in our 6 o'clock newscast. Make sure to join us for that. Police trying to find 2 people after a shooting downtown just before the fireworks on Monday night. Why don't you take a look at your screen? These are the 2 men police are looking for this afternoon. The shots were fired near Randolph and Larned. It was about 10 p.m. Police say 2 men were fighting when one of them pulled out a gun and fired. A man and woman were shot. They are recovering this afternoon. Police hope somebody can help identify the men on your screen. Take another look. If you have any information, call Detroit Police, or you can call Crime Stoppers and remain anonymous at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. A former teacher from Oakside Prep Academy in Pontiac is accused of sexually abusing a 16-year-old student. It was back in 2023. Jocelyn Sanroman is charged with 3rd-degree criminal sexual conduct. Police say another teacher told them Sanroman told her about the inappropriate relationship. Sanroman could face up to 15 years in prison if she is convicted. A man who contributed to the fentanyl crisis in Jackson is sentenced to nearly 20 years in prison. Tamarius Poogie Faulkner was convicted of distributing a unique form of crystalline colored fentanyl that is associated with a spike in overdose deaths and violence. Police say Faulkner is the leader of the Thoroughbred family gang and is originally from Texas. 6 other gang members in Jackson were also sentenced. Police say they've seen a significant drop in overdoses since these arrests.